We can have a detailed look in the map in just a second. There's of course some other information. We have the more insights, the customer reference and the roadmap. So here, if for anyone who checked my session yesterday, this is the connection. You can open the roadmap for every industry, which just take a second for the authentication to work. But we of course have the connection to Roadmap Explorer. This was yesterday. You need to check the recording. Also a free public offering from my organization. But we go back to the Solution Scout, where we have other information, for example, on the industry level, like customer references, and we will also see those references later on the specific sub-points, on the subway stations, however you will call them. We heard subway tracks, we heard the fishbone layout, so it's the perception from every user is somehow different, but overall we received good feedback on the UI, so I'm happy, confident to present it over here. So we see the industry overview here, an example for the passenger travel industry. And we see all important topics like, for example, the corporate strategy, when you need to decide what kind of business do you really want to be, the marketing and commerce, in case you currently work on the topics like how you can improve your market share, sales and service, you must sell your products and also your services. I think many industries currently tend towards becoming a service provider. Everything becomes a service, not only the software. And then here 2 major points: how should you run your business, operations and asset management, probably one of the most difficult industries here to keep their business running, the airline industry, and then continues with finance and human resource. And yeah, I picked this example by chance, but I think it's very nice that we immediately see the industry-specific content, since we have the catering production over here. So we have overall on the map, you have multiple levels, but you can click any element and it works the same all the time. But we do have the catering production, so chances are, if you also flew here, that the food which you received in the airplane was actually part of an S4 system. And as we now completed, so to say, the discover phase, let's immerse into the details. How does it look here into the tool? So I found a topic where I'm now interested in. I want to understand how can I improve the catering for my current business, may it be the airline industry or different travel industry. And I see here the capabilities coming up. So this is really down the lowest level of detail which we offer here. We target specific business needs that a typical customer here would at some point require to solve within their business. And for example, we see the variant configuration. So yeah, still a business topic. And in the sense of the airline industry, yeah, one could really imagine how this comes to life. You might have a food allergy, or you might have certain food preferences. I actually saw this, I think, the last time when I booked an airline ticket, that I could not only book the seat, but I could also book some or order some food up front and enter my special food preferences. And then I believe these people get the food first, so might be good and might be an option to do that next time. We have the descriptive text, but we also, that's what I promised you earlier, is the business value directly connected to it. So you can expect an improved customer satisfaction once you allow your customers to really enjoy an individualized food here in this case. And of course, it's an opportunity for you as a business to also increase the profit or to make some more money from each and every passenger. Finally, the connection is there to the solutions. How can you bring this to life within your business? The answer in this case and in many cases is S4HANA, but here we mentioned S4HANA, which supports the variant configuration here in this case for the travel industry and the catering production. Any questions up to now? Did you recognize some familiar topics or the content? Any questions on usability? Otherwise, we would move along, because I want to prove that we have the individual content for every industry. Let's see, did I miss any? I want also to point out one more thing. What you might have noticed now is that the user, or you as the future user, you do not really end up in a dead end. In other offerings, or let's say if you explore a certain product, you might navigate through the capabilities of a certain product, but you might get lost. So you have reached a state of a descriptive content what you were looking for, but here our goal is to never leave you lost. We now digged quite deep here into the catering production of a certain industry, but we can always go back and simply navigate here to a different area and say, okay, I got the food stuff, this is now everything solved, but let's now talk about, for example, the asset management, and you get all the information in the tool. This is everything is at one place, and you never lose the context of the business of the industry which you're working in. Now we want to lose the context on purpose. Let's see how this map actually looks for a different industry, and why not choose, for example, automotive. So bad news here, no catering production for automotive. The only way to get food into your car is to still use the drive-in. But we also, what we see here, this map is heavily influenced by the automotive industry being manufacturer driven. We have now new topics like research, development and engineering, manufacturing and so on and so forth. So very standard topics in the automotive industry, but being SAP, we of course support also the newest scenarios. I talked about it earlier. Products becoming a service is definitely a trend, or has been a trend for a couple of years, and we see this also in the automotive industry. And here I think it doesn't depend whether you have a combustion engine or an electric car. We see car manufacturers actually wanting to not only sell the product of a car, but selling the service of mobility, and even such trends are available on our map. We can open this overview over here, for example, the smart mobility and transformation. And there's one example which I want to show you over here in the monetization of mobility services, because I did all this effort in the intro talking about the partners and the ecosphere. And here in Solution Scout, we put actually the SAP offerings and the partner offerings on the same level. We communicated since quite a while that there are more than enough places where SAP cannot or doesn't want to provide the respective solutions. We rely on the partner network, and here we see this come to life. So we have a couple solutions named over here. We have the SAP solutions, and we also have a partner solution here by Digital Route. So this is on the same level, and we can also find it in the capabilities later on. Let's see. Capabilities. This was about the billing mediation. If I open this capability, we will see it come to life. This is again our known screen, and the solution how to or the answer on how to get billing mediation into your business would be here, in this case, a partner product. There's one more thing which I told you earlier about, which I have not shown you, is the further content. I think this one should be available over here in the entitlement management. We see that wherever we end up at the capability level, so really at this business topic, this business problem which you want to solve, we can also place additional information, your demos, your references. Here in this case we have the demo on SAP entitlement management, and if we click it, then you end up at this demo and can also easily then of course go back to Solution Scout to discover your portfolio further. Any questions up to now? If you want, you will get a mic or simply talk to me and I will repeat the question to also take care of our virtual audience. Yes, please. Okay, mic is just around the corner,
Okay.
so yeah.
So, how would you relate this to typical government services? I'm seeing elements that would apply in, for example, public utility services, but typical government services like immigration, for example,
So
revenue administration, for example. How would you describe your product as fitting for such purposes?
I know that, or I demoed this tool just a week ago towards public sector industries for us, and they actually knocked on our door already. They want to become part of the tool. And here the background information maybe for you is that all this descriptive information on the portfolio as such, it's already available in a say flavored content for public sector, for governments, for cities, for states. So the industries, Sven Deneken could tell you a lot about that. They already invest the effort to structure the portfolio not only for automotive and travel, but also for the public sector. And there we have the expertise to know that you do not talk about customers, you talk about inhabitants or your people, and that the process flows are typically, or some processes are different compared to an economic industry. Then with regards to the tool, so I heard from the public sector industry, they want to be part of the tool as fast as possible. And this would be then the time to check how their industry is actually reflected, how they describe a typical industry and how the solutions from SAP then come together. The content which you see here, it's actually available somewhere else, just not that nicely visualized. If you want, we can check on the, let's say, on the raw data after the session, how we talk about public sector industries, governments, states, federal processes, how we describe them, on how we map them to our solutions. So that is available within the company. Public sector as such, not yet in the tool, but surely it's going to be in the upcoming weeks or months. Plan is, if I share it here, then we need to deliver upon that. So latest by end of the year, we actually plan to onboard all industries on the tool. Yes. Oh, sorry. That's also
manufacturing. General manufacturing, because I see you don't have anything there. That's
yes.
General manufacturing.
So the colleagues from industrial manufacturing, they also approached us already with a certain go-to-market perspective that they want to bring in the tool in addition. I have their content in our test system. I could also show it to you maybe in a one-on-one after the session. Not sure exactly about what they put in, so I don't want to show it on the main stage. But the content as such is available for every industry right now. Currently we onboard industry one by one to ask them, for example, to add here the right additional information. So I learned yesterday that the financial sector is super important for South Africa, and the banking industry approached us, and they wanted to become part here. So we asked them to please provide us with the customer references, for example, so there's something to show to our users, and these are currently the steps required to onboard every industry, that they simply give us an existing customer story, and then we put it in so that if you're a banking customer, you are presented with the right banking customer stories. Manufacturing will be part. There was one more question, yeah.
Morning. I have two questions, right?
Sure.
Question number one, how do we as partners or customers get access to this? Question number two, can we, companies go on an ICT breeze strategy, process, right? Can we create our own, it might be banking, but not a full suite like you have on the fishbone, but can we create, maybe remove some of the products or the things that doesn't apply to us as part of?
So first question, easy answer. So once we roll it out, there'll be lots of communications. You hopefully will hear about it. Otherwise, simply write me an email so that I can inform you once we roll it out. It will be a public offering, like for example the Roadmap Explorer, which you might know, or the other tool that I own, the Transformation Navigator. So you type in the URL, open the link, you log in with the public user or your S user, so whatever you have from SAP. You can simply log in, This then allows you to have here the collections. I have not talked about it. You have simply a user profile behind where you can save certain areas, certain parts of the portfolio. So access, once it's live, will be simply made available to everyone. And the other question, the custom maps, I dream about offering this opportunity to allow each and everyone to build a map here. We invested great efforts to be able to draw these kind of maps for any kind of industry, because they might come up with 10 of these bullet points or only 2 and so on and so forth. So the engine behind that is actually quite robust. But currently I cannot tell you if and when we would, so to say, make this map editable. Say, hey, look, it says digital customer engagement here, but it's somehow my customer always calls it differently. They call their marketing department whatsoever. So let's simply rename a node and maybe rearrange this and delete something over there. Would be great. But it would also be quite complex, and currently the primary goal is to leverage the taxonomy, the go-to-market model which we have. But we have further ideas on how to make it more flexible, and maybe or hopefully at some point we can tackle such requests. It's good that you keep us reminding that that it's a nice structure, but for the final customer engagement, you might need some individual tweaks. Yes. For the stream, I can hear you, but it's for the virtual listeners. It's okay.
I wanted to find out elsewhere you are just describing to say maybe capture this information. Do you have got like standard templates which may enable you to achieve what you're being guided on by the tool?
Sorry, I didn't get it completely. You're talking about the template of the structure as such?
Elsewhere, for example, where a process, if you can go back to the...
We had automotive?
Maybe the automotive or the food, whatever. Click one process.
Such an overview or the
Okay, for example, you are saying solution billing or usage of subscription process. You are saying automate a process for you are saying automate a process, enable business model through. I wanted to find out if you've got a template. Let's say reduce days, scales outstanding with accurate timely billing, reduce manual. I'm not sure if this is the good example, but I just wanted to find out if you have got a template to use, a standard template to use to capture to help you, guide you through the data you are capturing.
So is the goal to narrow down the content, to lead them towards a certain path through all the offerings?
Yeah.
Yeah. What we currently work on is there is quite a lot of information for every industry, and what the development team of the tool is currently working on is a sort of a highlight functionality for the map. So you could select certain capabilities. I can, for example, here show it to you. Let's see here. Let's select a few capabilities. Let's see, this is super important for me. This is for the 2024 project. I want to have the extended production engineering, and I want to have product collaboration. And finally, I'm super in need of a capability to improve service order management. So currently a user can create these collections. We have then these capabilities which we simply added, and they allow us a shortcut to the detail pages. What we currently work on is to take such a collection and then highlight it on the map. So to narrow down the complete portfolio on a certain subset, which might be of interest. And what we will offer in addition is our pre-configured collections. So for example, that you can start with this map and say, please show me everything which is relevant for RISE or for GROW or for sustainability aspects, so on and so forth. So we'll definitely offer the opportunity to narrow down all this content and which then allows every user to create single paths where they want to talk about and not be overwhelmed with probably the complete portfolio. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, brought up the banking earlier. As I said, it's currently super well maintained. We have lots of customer references, and here the team took great care to describe the portfolio in a comprehensible way. We can go back once more to the slides, maybe to have a brief summary here on what we have learned. Does this work now? Let's see. Now we get the super secret. It's duplicated. Let's see. Simply switch back. Because I talked so much about the ecosphere and about the partners, I want to follow up here one more time. Applause down there, so we are good in time. What we actually did for Sapphire was showcasing also a future improvement, how we want to leverage the map layout. We took this partner focus one step further. Here actually you see the highlight functionality. It's a mock, I couldn't show it to you in the live system, but we highlight certain areas of the portfolio, and it's not super easy to see, but here we directly name, for example, the strategic partners which provide some solutions for the respective areas. So it was possible here at Sapphire to highlight the map based on where does SAP actually provide the offerings and where do we rely on our partners. So that's the map highlighting functionality which I talked about, in addition with the partner highlight which was possible to check on Sapphire. Yeah, and yeah, I want I put it in my notes 2 times actually to focus on one thing which I think is quite nice about the tool. I talked about it to you once now already, is that you are never lost. You do not reach a dead end. So if you take, for example, again here the banking industry as an example, the customer references, you have them available in the same moment at the same time as you can also see the complete portfolio, and you can also always switch context and see the respective content across your industry. This was the demo. I think we have 2 or 3 minutes for further questions. Yes, please.
Thank you. When will it be generally available?
Why is that the last question? So my manager is actually talking about it tomorrow with the industries that we want to onboard them as soon as possible. If we don't have it by the end of the year, then I have a problem. I would like to use it Thursday when I'm back in the office. Well, which industry are you working with? Maybe magic can happen, but yeah. The content as such is public. I mean, this is nothing secret. The same content, you would be able to find it elsewhere where it's not so beautiful. So it's not a secret, but we work towards the SAP standard processes to officially make it available, and that simply takes us a little more time. But as we're on the future stage, I think it was still right to talk about it. But I'm super glad, of course, that you like it and you want to use it. We also had such requests in SAP. My manager got a call in the canteen. Look, we need this for my industry tomorrow. And we delivered then, but it was internal. Sorry to keep you waiting. One more question, yes?
One more question. Just, you said the industry solutions that are not on that drop down, they're coming. So oil and gas,
Yes,
yeah, on the plan.
yes.
Okay, great.
Every industry is on the plan.
Okay. And then just what do you see, there's obviously many solutions. So what do you see this one sort of replacing then? If we go Solution Scout, which of the other offerings would it sort of replace? Would this then be a natural successor
That's
of?
the question which I need to answer to management. I think we offer something which is currently not available, and we also experienced it internally when we rolled it out. We got a lot of interest, a lot of visits on the tool. So I think we target an area which we currently do not serve for with an individual offering. We also need to take care of the resources, so we need to see how we actually bring things together. We have these, we call this a value map. And this is also available somewhere else in also publicly, and this might be a replacement for that. Yeah, so it would be difficult to completely cut off one of our tools. For example, Roadmap Explorer does something completely different. Transformation Navigator also has a slight different focus. But for example, in the Transformation Navigator, you also have the portfolio overview, so you can add single capabilities. And here we do it way better. So we have one channel which we kindly, or which we're happy to sacrifice, but how we bring capabilities together, that's still needs to be defined. We of course know that it wouldn't make sense to, we also cannot afford to put out there 20 tools instead of 15. Yeah, so this is a task for us, which we also work on to unify not only the product landscape, but also customer experience or user experience. So it should be one user journey. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the questions, enjoyed your interest in the tool. I hope you hear about the great launch throughout the year. It's already Q3, it's incredible. So we need to really keep up the pace. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy Sapila as I do. It's such a pleasure and such an honor to be here. Enjoy the rest of the day, some other sessions. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.